I think it is safe to say that Chelsea Football Club dodged a bullet today against Fulham. We can't play like that if we want to seriously compete for the Premier League this season. We can't play like that. That first half of football was abysmal. That's probably our strongest lineup, bar Reece James, who started on the bench. I should be happy 2-0. I should be happy. I should be, early kickoffs are never easy. 12:30s are never easy games. But the performance wasn't there today. That's the worrying thing about our team now, the performances. I'm thinking back to that the first game of the season, Crystal Palace. It felt like that today, but worse. The 2-0 sounds amazing when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. It's 3 points, who cares? But if we come up against Manchester United, bearing in mind this is the Manchester United that couldn't beat Grimsby Town the other night. If we come up against them in a couple of weeks and then we got Brentford after the international break, if we play how we played today, we don't win. If we play how we played today, we don't get 3 points. We don't. So am I happy that we got 3 points? Happy that we got the win, 110%. I said that yesterday in the podcast. But the performance, it's the performance. We've got to separate the two things. The win, great. The performance was bad. It was awful. Let's start with the lineup because Enzo Maresca, we tried to predict it yesterday on our podcast, 170 episode. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the Linktree link. It is there for you to listen to now. But we went Robert Sanchez in goal, Malo Gusto, Trevor Chalobah, Tosin, Cucurella, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Estevao Willian, Joao Pedro Neto, and Liam Delap. Now, I would have probably started Reece James in this lineup because I'm not saying that Malo Gusto had a bad game, but Iwobi was having a lot of fun in that first half. He was having a lot of fun down that left side in the first half for Fulham. And I thought Malo Gusto grew into the game. I think he did, but it's worrying when you've got your captain, the football icon, the face of Chelsea Football Club on the bench, the club captain on the bench. Again, I understand we've got to rest his minutes. We've got to, give him time to make sure that we don't injure him again. But if he can't play back-to-back games, my concern is how are we going to manage this throughout the season? Because when we come up against better teams, Liverpool's, Man City's, and you've got someone like Marmoush or you've got, Verts or Ekitike running towards you, I need my right back to be fully switched on. And there were times in that first half, Fulham had their chances. They just didn't take them. Thankfully, we had Trevor Chalobah that was switched on. I thought Tosin, again, 2 centre-back partnership was very good. But at times you could see that there was gaps in the defence. The way that Fulham were playing, they almost played a diamond in the midfield. They worked the ball very well. And they exploited our weak areas. They exploited that right-hand side for us very openly. I felt like Tosin was a bit more under pressure in this game. I don't think he had the best of games today. But, look, 3 points is 3 points. But when we come up against better opposition, and no disrespect to Fulham, because I thought they had a really good first half, they were very unlucky. Let's talk about the goal, the disallowed goal. For me personally, that is a foul. That is a foul, whether you want to dress it up. And I'm not saying it because it's just Chelsea. I'd say this if it was Everton, Burnley, whoever, Leeds. I don't care. For me personally, whether it's a deliberate stamp on the foot or an intentional stamp on the foot or an accidental stamp on the foot, it's still a stamp on the foot. It impedes Chalobah from getting back to recover the ball. It's a foul. Whether he meant to do it, whether it's a bit of skill, we tried. I don't care. It's a foul. It's a foul. For me, that's the right call. I heard Joe Cole on the halftime saying it wasn't a foul. We can't play the game like this. This is what we brought VAR in for. Now, VAR should clear that up a lot quicker for me. Because if they're saying it's not a foul or they're saying it is a foul, then it shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take 5 minutes to check all that out. But for me, it's a foul. If he goes to win the ball and he doesn't do the skill and he just tries to recover the ball and he steps on Chalobah's foot, the ref's giving that as a foul. So because he's done a bit of skill, we're just saying it's not a foul. That's not how football works. It's a foul. Simple as that. It was a really good goal as well from the young kid, Josh King. He took the ball really well. And I'll be honest, this is where I was saying about we looked very sort of lackadaisy and sluggish in that first half because it was too easy for him to run through, for Josh King to run through. You know, he twists and turns, tossing, and he actually scores that goal really well. That's a really good goal. Again, I'm looking at Sanchez to do a little bit more, but I'm also looking at Tosin in that situation as well because you have to do more. You have to do more in that situation because we're lucky because he was onside, he was in his own half, but you've got to do more. You've got to do more. And that's the worry. That's where I get worried when I look at our centre-backs, and I said it yesterday on the podcast, you know, we've got Fofana, we do have Benoit Badiashile still there, but we've got to be switched on. And our two centre-backs that we're going to be using this season have to be on the same page at all times. And 9 out of 10 times they were today, Chalobah and Tosin. And thankfully we had Moises Caicedo in our midfield. Thankfully can we all agree that Moises Caicedo is the best midfielder in the world right now? Because he is for me. Maybe I'm being a bit biased, but he's one of the best midfielders in the world. He has to be. Today, he was all over the place. He picks up the yellow card. And he's one of those players that when he picks up a yellow card, I'm not even concerned that he's going to pick up a second yellow, just because he knows he's very disciplined, how he approaches the game. You know, he knew that he couldn't risk getting sent off. You know, we lose Liam Delap very early into the game. It looks like a hamstring. We've just sold Nicholas Jackson. We've just sent him over to Bayern Munich. Very good deal, by the way. We're going to talk about that in another video tomorrow. But a very good deal for Nicholas Jackson to go there. We could have done with him today, to be fair. We could have done with a Nicholas Jackson. When Liam Delap pulls up, you'd look at your bench and you'd think you'd love to see Nicholas Jackson on there. I'm going to be honest with Tariq George's performance. It wasn't good. It was not a good performance. And I don't want to criticise him too much because he hasn't played a lot of football. But at the same time as well, there was a game last season, and I feel like it was in the Conference League, one of those games, and he was just running around. He done the same today. I can't really think of anything that Tariq George, apart from a little bit of skill just before he got subbed off, I didn't see enough from him. And he's playing out of position. He's not a natural striker. He should be playing on the left-hand side of the midfield. We know that. But if the manager's asking you to play up front, you've got to do a little bit more. And you're not doing what you need to do to get into the game. He didn't affect the game in any way. I don't think he's strong enough in terms of just physicality of playing as a striker. He's getting muscled off the ball very easily. I don't think we can play him there. And to get subbed on and subbed off is never nice for a player. You know, you could see the frustration when he was being subbed off. But I think, again, those are the things for me, even though the score result is 2-0, but we could have had a lot more in that second half. We could have had a lot more. And I felt, maybe you bring João Pedro into the striker role. You could have potentially put Esteval in the middle. You could have put Neto on the right, and then maybe you put George on the left, see how that works. And if that's not working, then of course, bring off George, bring on Gittins. But I did feel there was times where, Fulham were never really that far away from scoring a goal. And I was never confident that Tariq George was going to score us a goal or affect the game. And that's where I think we might have short-handed ourselves by allowing Nicholas Jackson to go to Bayern Munich on loan. And now we've left ourselves, especially with this injury, this could be a six-week delay, very similar to what's happened to Saka and others and other teams. But this could be very similar to those kind of injuries where it's a hamstring, you're out for 4 to 6 weeks. If that is the case, then we literally are just relying on João Pedro now, which worries me a little bit. Unless we bring someone in. Of course, we've got Garnacho, who was in the game today. You got to see him in the stands. But we have to talk about Enzo Fernandez as well. Because Enzo Fernandez, that first half, I don't know what it is. It was very reminiscent of the Crystal Palace game. It was just very sort of nonchalant about him. And that's not the Enzo that we're used to seeing. Very sort of lackadaisy with the ball. Mistiming passes, losing possession of the ball. But then he redeems himself because he gets the assist for the goal for João Pedro just before half-time. And it was a good goal. I mean, João Pedro is giving us a run for his money. He's the only one I look at and think, I'm confident you're going to get us a goal. I'm confident he's going to get us a goal. We need to keep him in the team. Esteval today, I thought, was very good again. But we have to remember, he's only young. He's very, very young. And I think he needs more time. I think we have to continue playing him in the role that we played him in. But he's going to need a lot more time. Because there was moments in the game where I think it was in the first half, the second half, can't remember. I think it was in the second half. He has a really good opportunity to score a goal. Really good opportunity to score a goal, and he doesn't take it as well. And the same for João Pedro. He had 2 opportunities, one late into the game where he's half volleyed it, and it was a very good save from Bird Leno. The second one, he tries to round Leno, but he should really think it over him. So those 2 for me, João Pedro and Esteval Willian, have to just do a little bit more, be a bit more clinical in front of goal. Because we could have easily ended that game, 4-0 today. If we take those chances. We really could. We really, really could. And it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate for Fulham because, again, the handball, for me, again, that's handball. Again, I'm seeing a lot of people online. I'm seeing a lot of the pundits say that it's very unfortunate, but it's handball. His arm is away from the play. His arm's away from his body. It's not a natural position to have your arm there. So for me, Sessegnon is doing something. He knows he's going to obviously cover in his face, but it's still a penalty. What are we doing? Why is everyone saying this is not a pen? Even the commentators were outraged today. Everybody hates Chelsea and I love it. But I'm telling you from now, it's a penalty. If you go and rewatch it again, you'll see that it's a penalty. It's a clear-cut penalty. It hits his arm. It hits part of his hand. It's a penalty. It was a very good penalty from Enzo Fernandez. This is what I was going back to Enzo Fernandez. This is what I mean. He didn't have the best of games, but he still affects the game in some capacity with the assist, with the penalty. And let's be honest, the second half, he did pick things up a little bit more quality, a bit more the usual Enzo Fernandez we're used to seeing. We need to step things up, though. We need to step things up. I don't think we can play in this way when we go up against better opposition than Fulham. We really can't, because I think if we do, as much as we're top of the table, of course, teams are kicking off in about 10 minutes whilst I'm recording this at 10-3. So we're top of the league at the moment, but we're showing the intent. And I remember saying at the start of the season, sometimes you have to win games rough and dirty. That was one of those performances today, but we have to do better because we dodged a massive bullet. And we're playing like this with 1 game a week. The Champions League starts in a couple of weeks. So we have to make sure that we can rotate the squad as necessary as we can. We need to get these players to their international teams and back without any injuries. Because if we're seeing João Pedro at the end of the game pull up a little bit, it looked like a calf muscle injury. Delap, hamstring. Cole Palmer's out for some time now as well. So we don't want to lose key players in this team. That's where we got to start thinking about utilising the squad that we've got. Gittins has to come on like he did today. Garnacho, I'm sure, will be announced. He'll be ready for the Brentford game and the United game, of course, coming up. So we have to make sure that we keep this squad as well-oiled as possible if we're going to compete for the league this season. But we have to do better than today. Today, we dodged a massive bullet. We got away with one, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Let's hope we can continue this form after the international break where we've got Brentford. There'll be a lot more content coming up on this channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. You like this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments as well. Don't forget to hit that Linktree link in the description as well. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. Until then, stay tuned. Enjoy the weekend and we'll be back soon.